Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Daniel. We're continuing to look at Daniel chapter 10, Daniel's fourth vision. Now this vision covers the last three chapters of the book, chapters 10, 11, and 12. And in chapter 10, Daniel's going to tell us about an angelic visitor he receives. Now we saw yesterday that Daniel had this vision and it weighed heavily upon him. And for 3 weeks, he's in what he calls a time of mourning and a period of fasting. And then the angel comes. Let's start reading at verse 4. It's on the 24th day of the first month. I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris River. I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen, belt of fine gold around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face was like lightning, his eyes were like flaming torches. His arms and legs were like the gleam of burnished bronze, his voice like the sound of a multitude. Now it's obvious from the description that this is no merely human visitor. This is a messenger from God, one of the angelic host come to Daniel. Daniel says in verse 7, Now I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. In other words, the angel was not visible to all, only to Daniel. Those who were with me did not see, says Daniel. I was overwhelmed with terror. The others felt the terror and they hid themselves. So the others with Daniel perceived that an angelic visitor was nearby, but they could not see. They just felt it, so they ran and they hid. Daniel says, So I was left alone, and I was gazing at the great vision. I had no strength left. My face was deathly pale. I was helpless. Then I heard him speaking, the angel speaking, and I listened to him, and I fell into a deep sleep. My face was to the ground. A hand touched me and set me trembling. The angel said, Daniel, you who are highly esteemed, consider carefully the words I'm about to speak to you and stand up, for I have now been sent to you. And when he said this, I stood up trembling. So Daniel, of course, realizes he's in the presence of a heavenly visitor, a supernatural being, an angel from God. He's overwhelmed with the significance of it and falls to the ground. But the angel speaks to him, tells him to rise, and says, I have been sent to you. Now remember, the word itself, angel, means a messenger, someone sent from God. Remember, the heavenly host sent from God to Daniel. So Daniel rises and prepares to listen. Now we've noticed, at least I hope you've noticed, as we've looked at all 4 of the visions of Daniel, in each one of them there is angelic visitation, helping Daniel to understand. You remember in the first vision in chapter 7, Daniel found himself in the heavenly throne room. The Ancient of Days was upon the throne. The Son of Man was approaching the throne to receive the kingdom. The heavenly hosts were all around the throne worshiping. And Daniel was overwhelmed by the vision and asked one of the hosts, one of the angels there, to come and help him understand, which the angel did. And then in the vision in chapter 8, the second vision, after Daniel sees the vision, he hears a voice from heaven say, Gabriel, interpret the vision for Daniel. And Gabriel, the angel, approaches Daniel and helps him to understand. And then in chapter 9, in the third vision, you remember Daniel had been praying because he'd been reading the prophecy of Jeremiah about the 70 years of exile. And then Gabriel comes again and gives him the vision of the 70 sevens. So 3 different times Daniel has had this visitation. And now in chapter 10, once again, the angel comes. Now it's interesting that in this vision, Daniel has the vision, but it's 21 days later before the angel comes. He had spent 3 weeks pondering the vision, thinking about it, trying to understand what it meant. And after 21 days, then the angel comes. And this angelic visitation is powerful, overwhelming Daniel. But Daniel's comforted because the angel has come to help him understand the meaning of the vision. Now, the first question might be in our minds, why 21 days? With the other 3 visions, the angelic interpretation was immediate. Why was there 21 days in between Daniel seeing the vision and then receiving the angelic visitor to help him understand the vision? We're going to look at that tomorrow. There's a lot of explanation given on why there was a 21-day gap. It says something about the supernatural activities that oftentimes we don't see. But we'll look at that specifically tomorrow. But right now, I just want you to understand that God has sent his messenger to Daniel so that he can understand the vision that had been given to him. Hope you join us tomorrow as we continue our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Daniel.